So warm welcome to all of you, and thank you for taking the time to join the webinar. My name is Glenn Keller. I'm the Global User Experience Team Leader at Criff and also Chief Product Officer at Criff Realtime. We're the creators of Credit Passport, as you'll find out a lot more about Credit Passport and Criff in a minute. But first, let me thank Tanya for setting this up and inviting us to speak to you all.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Tanya. So today, we're going to be discussing how to build visitor confidence and trust, which are both vital in e-commerce, but in particular for small businesses. And looking at some general things that can help you with this, and in particular looking at Credit Passport and how this can boost confidence in the end users of the websites by providing you with a financial health badge for the website, which gives lots of trust signals that you're going to find all about in a minute. If you have any questions during the webinar, there's a Q&A chat box in the corner, so let us know and we'll get to the questions at the end. So with no further ado, let's get started. Okay, I'm just gonna, should be able to see it. So, as we said, build visitor confidence to grow online sales with the Credit Passport web badge. It's a combination of Criff and EKM who have partnered to bring you this information. EKM, obviously a leading provider of e-commerce platform, and Criff, provider of credit scoring and other customer onboarding solutions. So quick overview of what we're going to be looking at today, who we are, just to set the scene. Then we're going to see why trust is so important for SMEs in e-commerce, find out really how much of an impact trust is having, and then some tips to enhance visitor trust, and then a deeper dive into Credit Passport, which is really where we're mainly coming from, and then we'll take your questions. So quick intro, who is Criff? So Criff, one of the large companies you probably haven't heard of. We have offices in 35 countries and around 5,500 staff. And what we mainly do is we have a mission to create value and opportunities for consumers and businesses all around the world by providing reliable information and solutions to allow basically better decision making. And then very much these days we're focused on innovation, digital innovation, and bringing kind of traditional tools into the new world. You can see kind of quite a large company, and with over 1 million live customers, 82,000 business customers, and we work with banks all around the world. So that's kind of a little bit of background, and specifically one of our products, which was launched in the UK, is called Credit Passport. And Credit Passport focuses very much on supporting SMEs, small and medium enterprises, not just through COVID, but at the moment there's a lot of focus on getting people to build resilience and getting them through the pandemic and the situation unprecedented situation over the last couple of years, and help them create resilience and demonstrate their financial health and also access funding. And we do this by the way of a business credit score. So Credit Passport is a unique and very focused credit score specifically for SMEs, that once you've got that in your hand, you're empowered to actually use that as a way of communicating your financial health to your supply chain and customers, and also to learn from that how to improve, so you can put your best foot forward in front of lenders and banks and work out how they see you and how you can therefore get the most out of the financial system. And we're going to come back to Credit Passport in detail later. Right now we're going to jump into kind of why we're here, to look at e-commerce and why trust is so important for SMEs in e-commerce, and what the current situation is and market trends. So since COVID, there's been a huge rise in e-commerce, people not going into physical stores, shopping online, and everyone's been very comfortable shopping. But where have they been comfortable shopping? They've been mostly comfortable shopping at Amazon. Amazon have had an 84% increase in profit in 2020, which is incredible for Amazon. And they're very, very good at what they do. But also all the SMEs and small businesses all up and down the country that are the backbone of the economy have been forced to digitize quickly. And that's where tools like EKM are fantastic to allow them to get online and sell robustly and fast. But for the end customers, they're in a situation where instead of walking into a big shiny shop or even a very small cool shop, they're in a space where they're talking to a company they don't necessarily know, and you're asking them to give you your money. And there's so many new people. We've actually stat that I found at Simply Business, there's an 18% rise in new SMEs selling for the first time online in 2020 compared to 2019. Just see if I can skip to the next slide. But once we watch our animation again, this is Amazon potentially eating up all of these new businesses because they maybe can't compete on a level playing field. So the reason I say that is because, unfortunately, there's a stat that 90% of all e-commerce startups end up in failure in the first 120 days, which is a shocking stat. I had to double check that a few times. That's from 2019, actually. It's pre-COVID. But why do they fail? And there was 10 reasons given in this report that we went through. So there's some obvious ones like poor online marketing or lack of search visibility, and these are all vital, of course. People having big ideas that really very, very niche, so no market for their products. But the one that I've highlighted here is retail giants dominating a large share of the market. Now with EKM, you can upload your products to some of the big players through a feed, but in reality, you want to own that sale, you want to own that relationship, and get people on your site and get people to part with their money and trust you. So how can businesses start to level the playing field? And some of that we're going to address here. So what's the impact of low trust? Now, this report from Statista said, with the amount of online competition, if a customer feels a site is untrustworthy, it's very easy for them to leave and shop at another. It's just one click away. They don't even have to get in their car and drive to another shop. So this leads to a huge rise in abandoned baskets. This is people that have gone through the Google search. They've knocked off that 35%. They even like the products. That's another 30%, and they've got all the way to the basket. And yet, still, in 2019, on average, 70% of baskets were abandoned. And that's a shocking figure, which means all of those are sales that should have really completed. And we also saw a rise of highlights just over here, just after the last 2008 financial crisis, where there was another kind of, let's say, fear about economical stability. There was a rise. It was kind of around 62%. It went up to 66% during the crisis, and even after, when many companies started to fail, basket abandonment peaked again. And you can see here it's kind of relatively flat, but this is pre-COVID. We're expecting to see similar rises as the companies that have been propped up by government schemes start to come undone a little bit once furlough finishes and other schemes stop dishing out as much money. And we'll see those same kind of fears coming back, which is this company going to disappear with my money? It's one of the biggest fears for that. So what can we do? Let's have a look at how uncertainty works. So there's a triangle, and on one side we have probability for gain with trust, and on the other hand we have the probability for loss, which is distrust. And these two are pulling each other different ways, and people feel confused, and they're in the middle. And the more these two are high, the more uncertainty there is. And what we want to do is we want to boost the trust side and minimize the distrust side, which means addressing any doubts even before they fully form in someone's mind on the website. So what factors add to this distrust? So the top e-commerce fears from research by VWO, fears of credit card being stolen, they sell your information. I'm not sure what the product is really like. Maybe it's not as good as it looks. Not being able to track orders. But actually this one stood out. It's not a real store, because of course they don't know, they don't have a relationship. We're not buying from somebody that they've ever been to, and anyone can set up e-commerce quite quickly. So it's not a real store. It's one that we can address. And on this side we have what factors here from BuySafe. 81% of shoppers online feel concerned when shopping on a website where they're not familiar. So that concern built into that triangle, which builds the uncertainty, it makes them basically run away from the basket at the end of the day. This can be loss of sales, losing customers in the long term. So that's why trust in e-commerce is so vital. So we reduce that 70% of abandonment rate. So it's kind of a perfect storm for SMEs. Customers are more worried about their money. They have way more competition, and people like Amazon have just got better and better. There's same day delivery, there's price comparison, there's wish lists, there's everything you can dream of. I had phoned Amazon for customer support at 1 a.m. on a Sunday the other day, and they rang me back immediately. There was someone there like, it's very difficult to compete with that level, but you can. At least you can level the playing field. And then, of course, you're playing on the same field as the giants. You've got one click here selling something, another click there. You don't have to. One is not more convenient or less convenient. So what can we do? So basically, this financial pressure is leading to this circle. And one way we can do it, well, there's a few ways actually. Let's go through some actual tips to address some of these researches and what we can do in the e-commerce sites to address trust and narrow this gap. So a survey, also by eConsultancy, I think it was the same survey, asked the question: if you're shopping from an e-commerce website with a retailer you don't know well, how would you decide whether to trust them? And these were the results. So very happily for us, providing trust badges, the number one 48% reason that people gave is that the site can display trust marks to reassure shoppers. I'm going to come back to that in a minute in more detail. There's some other really good ones in here as well. The site looks professional, well designed. The site contains well-known brands or products, maybe less important. It loads quickly and works well. And someone's recommended it. It's obviously a great one. And the site has, funnily enough, clear contact number and address details, which also lends back to this: is it a real company? That's really saying, is this company real, or somebody just put up some web pages and trying to get my money? So let's look at some of these in detail. Just pull out 3 of those. So trust signals. The good news with EKM, of course, we've got great templates. So you choose one to suit your needs, and it works well. It's not like you have to, let's say it's going to be buggy and stuff like that. You've already starting from a solid grounding, which is fantastic, and all the baskets and stuff are integrated. But you also got to check it works well on mobile. 66% of purchases are on mobile, so that's a massive market. So do test yourself, get on your mobile phone, shop at your own site, and think like you're a consumer. As a UX person, as user experience, you're all the time putting your headspace in the space of the consumer. You're like, I'm here, I've never heard of this company before. What am I thinking right now? Am I thinking I'm going to press next, or am I thinking, I don't know, that pop-up's in the way of my button? There's always something. If you actually act like a consumer, you'll find that you see something that you wouldn't have otherwise noticed. Check for bugs. Now, that's not necessarily technical bugs, but it could be links that are broken. It could be images that don't upload, or they're not coming in properly, or they're too small. So do check everything as if you're an end user. And the other one I put here for professional trust signals is good photography. Remember, you're competing against Debenhams, against ASOS, against Etsy. These people have fantastic photography, and even if the design and the template's perfect, if you're sticking some photos uploaded on a mobile phone next to them, it's going to start to put doubt in people's mind and increase that uncertainty. So there's always a combination of logic and emotion when people are purchasing anything. There's the logic side: I want it, it's a good price, it's I like buying British, and it's local to me. And then there's the emotional side, like does it feel a bit dodgy? It might be intangible things, and these things are very intangible, but you just want to make sure that nothing gets in the back of their mind, that you put any doubt in there. So that's really important. And the final note I put here is don't forget to proofread the text. The best template in the world won't help you if you've got spelling mistakes and bad punctuation and anything like that. So or things just don't make sense. So do double check everything. Act like a whole marketing product team. So 32% of your customers will be looking at these things as a key indicator. So what else? 46%. This is what I was saying earlier about this real world aspect. Now, you might not have a shop, you might have closed your shop even in these times, but it doesn't mean you haven't got a phone number or a physical address or shipping place or opening hours. So communicate these, because these are one of the biggest proofs that you actually are a real company and you actually exist, and not operating. And this was a quote actually from some devil's armchair. not my wording, but definitely make sure the site doesn't just have a contact form and is anonymous, because people will look for that. They want to go, I'm just about to spend £100 with this company. You know, can I go around there? Does it feel real or not? And that's very important if they don't know you as a brand. And additionally, there's an SEO benefit. Google lists searches results by location, and they include opening hours in the list results. You get more space on the page, and you also get an SEO boost if Google can find your address and phone number. So don't bury it somewhere. You know, put it in the footer, put it in the header even. And if you haven't got manned phones, you can have live chats. It's a great way, even chat bot. So you can actually provide a level of customer support, answer frequent questions, make somebody feel like there's somebody there, even without being there all the time. And that's also good. But there are ways of outsourcing customer support once you're busy enough to do that, just to provide that extra service, and it should pay for itself in increased sales. And the final one we're going to focus on in this section is the one that came up top. The site displays trust marks to reassure shoppers. So one that I've lumped into this category is reviews. Now this ties in that your friend or family has shopped there as well. They're kind of social reviews. But what is important is that the reviews are trusted. There's one case study that I was checking that said a customer had a company, an e-commerce company, had reviews on their checkout page, but they were in their own format. They were just pasted reviews, and they were doing okay, but they weren't doing as well as they expected to do. And they actually changed it to the embedded Trustpilot widget, and it went up, I think, 79% conversion rates. And they did a blind A/B test, which meant they ran both versions of the page simultaneously, and for 1,000 customers, and 79% more people completed on the one that had the Trustpilot reviews. So they felt more authentic than the ones that just had the kind of curated reviews. So that's important. Trustpilot is quite expensive. There's a site that I really like called reviews.io, much cheaper, very similar product. So that's a good tip to look at them. An SSL secure certificate, that's a little padlock in the top next to the domain name. So with EKM, all the sites include an SSL, but make sure whenever you're looking around, you do have that in place. It's up to date, it's renewed, it's important. The browsers these days will signal there's a risk if that's not there. Another way is on the products themselves. So if they got British standards or kite marks, or is it a service is ISO certified? Is it made locally? And can you put a country of origin on there? Any way of displaying authenticity is great. It reassures people on the products themselves. And then Credit Passport here. This addresses a few of the issues, and we're going to get into this in the next section. But basically, it shows that you're financially healthy and you're not going to fold or disappear before the delivery is made. It's a way of putting a kind of a financial health badge on your website, and that's a great signal that says not only is the site secure, not only are the products good, not only do people like it, but actually as a business, we're also in a position to be to serve you. The kind of things that you get if you walk into a shop and it's ripped carpets and falling apart versus a shop that's well kept, you just feel different. But the difference in a shop is the transaction is immediate. Online, there's a gap where you pay and you might wait a few days or a week or even 6 weeks for the delivery. So it's very important that the financial trust is there as well. And it's something that specifically, as we saw earlier, around the pandemic time, around financial crisis times, that's exasperated, and people even more looking for safe harbors, the Amazons of this world. They know are not about to disappear with their money. Okay, so how does Credit Passport create trust? Let's have a look at Credit Passport in a bit more detail. So what is Credit Passport? Basically, to this one here, Credit Passport is the most accurate view of a business's financial health. It's easy to understand. Basically, it's very clear rating scale, very much like the energy efficiency scale. Anyone immediately knows, even if they've never seen a financial score before, that an A is better than a B, and it's good. It's green, it's an A. You can do business with this company, even a B. it's quite a lot like the health ratings, the hygiene ratings on a restaurant. You might walk into a 4 or a 5, but you might think twice on a 2 or a 3. Just instantly communicative. Yeah, it's powerful. Actually, underneath this, it's constructed around international banking standards. And this figure here, which isn't on the actual web badge, is when you're talking to lenders, when you're talking to landlords, people that might be, or your bank, they understand this figure, and it's the amount of percentage chance of you defaulting on your payments within 90 days. So it's powerful and it's internationally recognized, yet it's super clear to communicate. Short video that we made. This gives one scenario, one of the benefits. This isn't the benefit about the website trust. This is the benefit about accessing a loan clearly. But I'll just play this video for you. It's around, it's pretty short, but it's quite cool.
If you asked him, Tony would say he's doing just fine. He's in the business of delivering beautiful, pre-inflated, colourful, round balloons. He sees his deals, pays all his salaries and taxes, and yet he's been turned down for a loan and doesn't even know why. This drives him crazy. Now, he does know when not to take his business next time. Happily running his local skate shop, Joe is about to be turned down too. But unlike Tony, he knows what to do. Credit Passport uses your bank data to show you how the financial system views you in real time. It's totally secure and doesn't impact your credit profile. Having a full overview of his financial reputation, improving his business credit score from C to B is as easy as popping a shamit. Now the skate shop has an extra room.
There you go. Thank you. So yeah, a little video about Credit Passport and how they help people get themselves in a financial position to access finance. But of course, with Credit Passport, you also get tools to improve and to grow your business from a financial perspective. And then that's reflected on your web badge. So how it works, finding out the score itself is actually free. Anyone can go in there if they've got a business bank account, register, takes about 1 minute, and connect the bank account. Uses open banking, so you have to kind of log into your bank and give permission. It's a simple connection. It's very, very secure, regulated by the FCA. And then you get your credit score. And then we have a plus plan that gives you the web badge that I was talked about earlier. There's a couple of sizes available, and it's updated in real time. So anyone above a B gets the badge. Anyone below a B just gets a nice Credit Passport logo. So you're not necessarily projecting to your customers a C or a D. So it's very safe. You don't have to worry about it updating in the background and being a negative factor. It's all very positive. It's serving you as the customer. So additional to the badge, to stop people, let's say, photoshopping one, everyone has a landing page. So this is the badge at the bottom of somebody's website. They're also displaying there an FSB member as a trust signal. You click on that and you go to their landing page, and it's got today's date on it if it's valid, and a little bit about the company as well, and a little bit more information. So that's also there on all the badges. It's actually a live badge, and that works with an embed code. There's a couple of sizes available, some examples. You can have like the normal size badge. You can have a mini badge as well. You can just sit in the footer. I would say, actually, with the research, the best placement for this, it's worth having it in the footer, but also on the checkout page as well, next to any other site seals or payment gateway logos, because that's the point where the most doubt creeps in. It's inserted very simply. Actually, got a PDF I can show you in a moment, just to show you how the embed code is captured. Just simple, just like embedding a YouTube video. Just cut the embed code, paste it in the site where you need it to display, and then it appears instantly. You don't have to do anything else. It updates by itself all the time. So talked about trust signals, talked about testimonials, not Trustpilot, mind you, but you know, the SMEs that we work with love it, and some of them have had a real difference. They've closed funding deals, they've increased, they've started to trade internationally, and that's great. And we've also won lots of awards for really turning around, let's say, the transparency in the finance market. And no longer people just turn down for a loan without knowing why. The power is in their hands, as we saw in the video, to actually improve and become an active player in your financial destiny. So that's quite fun to be recognised by the industry continually. So I did want to do a short demo of Credit Passport, which might relate to one of the questions, but let me just pause my screen sharing to see if we've got any questions here from the audience. So,
thank you very much. It was definitely, as always, a very informative presentation, and I hope everybody in the audience liked it as well. Yes, we do have a few questions. I think the first question is about connected with the video. And the question is that, can Credit Passport help in the business loan and financing?
Yeah, good question. Absolutely. So our initial thought was we give people the most accurate credit score, and it helps lenders make a decision about the customer really quickly. One of the reasons actually that the SMEs were so underserved is they're quite complicated to assess. You know, an individual, they'll kind of act a little bit similar, and they all have a credit score from Experian or Equifax or someone like that. And large corporates that are traded on the stock exchange, they have massive ratings that take months to put together from big agencies. But SMEs kind of are complicated. Everyone is completely different. Everyone has business plans and dreams and quality of staff. So they're actually quite difficult to assess, which means the lenders didn't really like lending to SMEs because they took too long to assess for the return they got on the loan. So actually, they weren't really lending to SMEs. And even though SMEs are a huge, 80 to 90% of the economy in the UK, they're actually only about 1% of lending from banks were to SMEs. So their first kind of way the Credit Passport addresses this is to make it easier and faster for lenders to assess businesses. That's the first thing. But then once the lenders are using Credit Passport, the great thing is we can connect Credit Passport users with those lenders. So if you're an A, it's great. You can say these companies will lend to you at the best rates. But if you're a C or a D, it doesn't mean no one's going to lend to you. It's a case of connecting you to the right people and removing the friction, because you're not going to go through the whole application and get turned down at the end because you failed the credit check. You put the credit check at the beginning, remove all the friction, fill in the form once, and then it gets automatically digitally distributed to the various lenders. So that's the dream. Some lenders are already working with Credit Passport in that way. Some are onboarding at the moment, but the number of lenders on the Credit Passport platform is growing, and yeah, we're helping new businesses every single day match with funding partners. So definitely can help with that. It's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. There is one more question, because that there are a lot of new startups, as you were mentioning in the presentation as well, at the start of pre-COVID or maybe in the middle of the COVID. Does Credit Passport helps SMEs to install the badge as well? Is there any support available?
Yeah, there absolutely is. So couple of things. One is we have a really good guide, and it is quite simple. I should mention in advance, but yeah, we have not just a live chat on Credit Passport, but also let me show you here. We have this nice guide you can download as well, and it talks you step by step how to go into the thing. Click on Get Embed Code, and you can choose if you want the standard badge or the mini badge. And once you've selected the one you want, just copy the code to the clipboard and paste it in the text. That said, we have, through the live chat, you can book an appointment with one of our technical advisors for free, and we'll get you up and running really easily. So it's we do everything we can to help. So hopefully that answers the question nicely. But yeah, don't worry about the technical side. If you've got a web developer, they'll know immediately what to do with this. It's kind of just like embedding a YouTube video. If you don't have a web developer and you're doing it yourself, we can help you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And one last question was that about the startups. If a startup is not having a lot of reviews, how Credit Passport badge, can support them, and is there any other ways of supporting them regarding if they have not many reviews available? If you can highlight that a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, I would say that one big difference with Credit Passport and traditional credit scoring is any company that's had a business bank account for more than 3 months can get a Credit Passport. So other credit scores, even if they might not be customer facing, they might not be as communicative, there are some other business credit scores out there, but normally you have to have a year or two of accounts filed, which means startups can't access credit, they can't access badges, they can't access any of the benefits. Credit Passport, because it uses actual data from your bank account, as long as you've got 3 months worth of account history, it's enough to get the Credit Passport working accurately, get the badge, and get get your credit score as well. So once you've been trading for 3 months, you get it. You can actually join earlier. Don't forget, it's free to join. And what it does is it counts down until that 3 month period has been passed, and then the badge works. It, for example, you've been trading for 1 month, it says your Credit Passport will be ready in another 60 days. So yeah, you can sign up today on creditpassport.com.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. And I think there are only a few minutes left. So if you would like to just do the demo, then we are, I think, almost on time. Thank you.
Excellent. I will do that. Okay, so here's the Credit Passport website at creditpassport.com. As mentioned, here's our chatbot ready in the corner, ready to go. If you need support or questions, you can use that. All the information, educational, is here, but I'll just show you how you kind of join, how easy it is. The first thing you need to do is enter or search for your company. And it's got a live search. Immediately, you don't have to type anything. It's all spelt correctly. You just find your company and declare, this is my company. And then it's actually my mother's company. But if I'm not my mother, I can just enter my name here and say, here you go, I have permission. And then you continue to create an account. And that's it. It's just as simple as that. What's happened is we've created an account, and in the background it's pulled all the information about the company, about the directors, about the age, without hardly any typing at all. Just need to enter your business email address and a password. And then you move on to connecting your banks. Now, I've already done that. So what I'll do instead is I'll sign in, and I actually use this company for demos. So it's quite fun to use it. And you can see I've connected the Barclays bank account 77 days ago. And because it's updated every day, it's the first time I've signed in today. It takes about 30 seconds to show the score for that day, for the first time in the day. And you can see this company is at C. Now, there's lots of reasons for that. And it shows you here, you can see how to improve the score. You can see some matched offers. And you can see kind of a playback of all the accounts you've got connected and aggregated. And this is the badge part I'm going to show you today. You can see on the website badge, I want to get the embed code. Just click here and you can see it only appears on these websites. You can type in your website address, and once it's there, it will appear. You can use it on every single page of that site, but you couldn't put it on a different website, so people can't kind of steal your badge code. Now, because this is a C and not a B or above, it just shows the logo. It doesn't demonstrate publicly that you're a C. But if it goes above a B, then this embed code here, showing this copy, would appear with the correct badge automatically. You don't have to change the badge at all. You can download the PDF here, and it's as simple as that. You can also download a certificate that shows your score, and you can also, which can show that. I've had people come to me and said they showed it to their estate agent, and the landlords went with them instead of another company who was bidding for the same property. You can also share it socially. So it's incredibly powerful to use these tools to communicate you're stable, you're healthy, and you're real. And that's coming back to the original concept. It's a great way of showing to people and cutting off those fears that they have right now, very, very real fears about dealing with companies they don't know, they can't see, and haven't got a history with. So I hope that helps. I hope that explains. Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing right now and see if there's anyone else, and we'll bring Tanya back in just to wrap up maybe.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, what are matched offers? You said it shows matched offers. What is that?
Pleased you asked. So this is where looking at your credit score, and also not just your credit score, but also the size of your company, your location, the industry sector you're in, the age of your company. We actually show you companies that offer services to you.
Okay.
Sometimes at a discount, sometimes not at a discount, depends on the company, that you can be paired with. So, not at any time, and you can click through straight to their websites, sometimes bypassing all the application forms, go straight into the flow. It's not just for not just for loans. It's also, we have business insurance. We have a special trial with EKM there as well, especially for passport customers. We have some great cyber checking tools. If you're worried about cyber security, there's one called CyberCheck there. It's also made by CRIF that allows people to make sure there's no fraud or hacking attempts. It's really great. So there's lots on the offers page.
By having a passport, you're not only you're becoming part of a bigger picture as well. So you've got the potential of generating business amongst all the other credit passport owners as well.
Exactly.
Do you do any kind of like government funding and things like that with the?
There are, yeah, absolutely. Yep. So we've partnered with 2 great firms. In fact, through the bounce back loan period, which have ceased now, we were one of the only companies that were actually helping people get bounce back loans, because the main lenders, they weren't making any money out of it, so they weren't really pushing that. But we were actually able to pair people that weren't able to get bounce back loans from their banks with people that could still help them. It's great. And anything we can do to support SMEs is what we're all about. So whether that's
valuable in itself, really. I mean, that having access to something like that, it's a minefield. And if they can come through somebody like yourselves, I mean, that's just added value, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's also a great learning centre. If you go to creditpassport.com/learning, there's loads of advice about things you should be thinking about as a business owner to build resilience, and to be aware of kind of government legislative changes and opportunities. So keep an eye on that. We're all about just helping SMEs be as strong, healthy, and successful as they can be.
Excellent. Brilliant. Well
Thank you, William. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody. I think that wraps up. And you can always contact us at info@creditpassport.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.